Identity is something most of us never question. We wear it like a familiar coat, our memories and roles stitched together. But what happens when life quietly slips that coat off your shoulders? When the past can no longer answer who you are? Today's story isn't about losing memory. It's about discovering yourself when everything you thought defined you suddenly disappears. This is the story of a woman who forgot her name, and in that forgetting, found something far more valuable. It's about the moment when the person you've been performing finally steps aside, and the real you can breathe. Elena Marquez had built a life that looked perfect on paper. A respected attorney, a partner at a reputable firm, a woman whose days ran like clockwork. Early mornings, sharp suits, precise schedules, polished confidence. People saw her and said she was unstoppable, disciplined, someone who knew exactly who she was. But Elena carried a quiet truth she never shared. Her entire identity felt borrowed, adjusted until she fit neatly into roles others gave her. A reliable daughter, a high-performing lawyer, a composed partner, a woman who never cracked, never faltered, never questioned the script she was reading. She didn't feel like a person living her life. She felt like an actor performing it, waiting for applause that never quite satisfied. One evening, she left the courthouse exhausted. Rain hammered the city like 1,000 tiny drums, washing the streets in silver reflections. Her mind buzzed with unfinished work, decisions waiting for approval, emails unanswered. The weight of performance pressed down like wet wool. As she crossed the street, her heels slipped. Just a moment of lost balance, but enough to change everything that came after. A flash of wet pavement, a sharp impact that rang through her skull, a blur of voices calling from somewhere far away. Then darkness, complete and absolute, the kind of darkness that feels like falling through the bottom of yourself into nothing. Elena awoke in a small clinic room bathed in morning light. The walls were soft blue. The air smelled faintly of lavender and antiseptic. A nurse entered with a gentle smile and asked the simplest question in the world. "What's your full name?" Elena opened her mouth. Silence. The words wouldn't come. Not because her mind was broken, but because the answer felt like a stranger's name whispered in a foreign language. They tested her memory. She remembered laws, colors, objects, facts. Her mind worked perfectly, but her personal history was completely gone. No memories of cases fought, no friends or family. When the nurse read Elena Marquez from her file, the name felt empty, meaningless. Over the next few days, people visited her. Each one arrived with flowers, concern, and most importantly, their version of who she was. Her partner brought roses and said, "You're strong, you always lead." A colleague said, "You're brilliant but serious, you never take breaks." Her mother held her hand and said, "You've always carried everyone else's burdens. It's who you are, it's what you do." Everyone described her with absolute confidence, as if they had memorized a script she'd forgotten. But the descriptions clashed violently. Strong yet fragile. The truth hit her like cold water. She hadn't lost herself. She had lost the story others had written about her. Without it, who was she? On her fourth day, a therapist named Dr. Mira visited. She wasn't old or mysterious, just calm, the kind of presence that made the air feel still. Elena asked desperately, "How do I rebuild myself? I don't know who I used to be." Dr. Mira didn't answer with advice or plans. Instead, she took out 3 blank white cards and placed them gently on the bedside table. "Your past is temporarily out of reach," she said softly. "Write a word describing the life you'd want if you didn't have to impress anyone." Elena hesitated, then wrote, "Ease. Simple, honest, true." The second card, "A person you admire, not one expected of you." She wrote, "Honesty." The third, "Where your heart naturally leans." She wrote, "Freedom." As days passed, Elena experienced life in a way she never had before. She watched rain streak down windows without thinking about productivity. She listened to birds in the courtyard, smiled at strangers without feeling watched or judged, walked slowly, without destination or purpose. Everything felt new, like seeing a sunrise through clean glass for the first time. Colors seemed brighter, sounds seemed clearer, life seemed possible. She realized something she had never allowed herself to notice. Without her old identity, she felt lighter. No one expected her to win or lead. For a moment she wondered a dangerous question. Had her old self ever really belonged to her? Or had she been wearing someone else's life? On the 7th morning, Elena jolted upright in bed. Memories flooded back like a wave breaking open after years of holding back. Late nights in the office, courtroom victories, and stinging losses, arguments that drained her soul. the crushing weight of others' endless expectations. Moments she pretended not to care. Moments she cared too much. Every performance, every mask, every smile that hurt to hold. It all came back. She stood in front of the mirror in her room, staring at her reflection, and whispered words that changed everything. I remember everything now. But I don't recognize the person I was. I don't want to be all of it anymore. I don't want to wear that coat again. Later that afternoon, Dr. Mira returned. Elena looked at her with clear eyes and said, I remember who I was, but I don't want to be her. The therapist nodded as if she had expected this exact moment all along. Memory returns on its own, she said gently. But identity is chosen. Elena touched the 3 cards she had written days before. Ease, honesty, freedom. Her fingers trembled with recognition. Are these still just seeds? Dr. Mira smiled, the kind of smile that holds years of watching people find themselves. No, she said. They are the beginning, your beginning. Not who you were. Not who others needed you to be, but who you choose to become. One honest decision at a time. We spend our lives building ourselves from memories, stacking achievements and labels until we believe they define us. But they don't have to. Identity is not a museum of the past. It is a garden of choices. It grows when you decide how you want to live now. You are not the person you used to be. You are not the stories others wrote for you, or the roles they assigned. You are not your reputation, your past, or your performances. You are the one who decides the next sentence, the next chapter, the next self. And sometimes, losing your name is the first step to remembering your truth, to choosing yourself, to finally coming home to who you really are.